Bond, my dear friend, you fell into the oldest trap in the book. Retconning. In Spectre, a cryptic message from Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover a sinister organization, as M tries to keep the Secret Service alive due to a political battle. Bond then peels back the layer to show the true, terrifying truth of Spectre. By this point in the franchise, I'm nearing till the end, and these last two films could be very entertaining and very emotionally satisfying. Sadly for this film, all it does is kind of put a smile on my face while making me feel nothing inside.
Damn, that's cold.
For starters, I like that Daniel Craig's Bond here is much more in line with the classic old Bonds of the day. He feels much more like a well-engineered spy, just going through the motions and doing his duty. The relationship between him and Dr. Shaw, I think, is a highlight in the film that definitely stands out. It's one of the relationships that actually feels like a deep connection, as the two come from a similar history and background, having gone through a lot. With that being said, I think the fact that Dr. Shaw is someone who's related to one of the villains in one of Craig's first movie is a nice little way to kind of tie everything together. And her herself is an interesting, strong character. The villains here, I think, are just a lot of fun. You have Batista as like the muscle who doesn't speak at all. This guy named C, who's kind of just a little shit, kind of running the things from MI6 perspective. And then obviously Christoph Waltz as Blofeld is one of the best casting choice ever. And honestly, I think he gets plenty of screen time in the movie itself. The story that we go on with them trying to take out MI6 and control the world through one gigantic super network, I think is actually very believable. Gone are the days where they were just trying to take over the world with nuclear weapons. This actually feels like something that could feasibly be achieved in more modern times. Of course, the action itself is top-notch. They do some pretty cool one-takes and some awesome set pieces, some battles in the snow and in other locations while globetrotting, and I think it is just a lot of fun. Obviously, you get the same director from the last film, you're gonna get the same level of quality. Overall, I like that they try and do something akin to the glory days and try and bring in a lot more elements from the past films to really tie everything together in a nice little bow, even though it doesn't really work out and it's not the most satisfying.
Well, we tried.
With the mixed, I gotta give it to the fact of the way that they try and make everything connect. Now, on the one hand, I love when a film does this. It's able to call back to all the other ones and try and work itself in and connect to all the previous 3 Bond films. But at the same time, the way that they go about it is just really stupid. It basically gets revealed that the villains and the organization Spectre have been pulling the strings for the last 3 movies to set up Bond and have him go through the most miserable experiences in his entire life. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's just so bad. That's like Star Wars level prequel trilogy bad on like expecting how much planning and goes into that to actually pay off.
This is where the fun begins.
Shocker to no one, but I don't care for the humor in this. Similar to Skyfall, or at least some of the scenes in Skyfall, I feel like they doubled down on the humor in this, and it cuts away from the emotional aspects, the tension, the action, just everything in general. Feels much more campier like the old Moore era, and I didn't care for that at all. In this entire era of the Craig Bond era, I gotta say, this is the goofiest and the silliest that it's been for a more modern adaptation of Bond. This is a script and a movie that doesn't feel like it quite has a story all the way there, so they're taking tropes and cliches and kind of doing a formulaic template for a Bond vehicle in order to give some kind of send-off for Craig. There's a bit in this movie where the 00 program is being shut down, But I could have sworn that from the last film, we actually learned that they actually were given more resources because there are threats and villains out there that are much more above their pay grade than the government is willing to admit. It's just one of those things where it kind of feels like it's undermining what happened in the last film and how important that was. And I don't really agree with that at all. As much as I find the villains fun and entertaining, I gotta say the motivation behind Blofeld is the worst thing this franchise has ever done. Do you want to know why he hates Bond so much? Well, it turns out him and Bond are adoptive brothers. Yeah, that's right. Blofeld is so pissed off at his adopted brother for taking away quality daddy time that he literally made it his entire life's mission to fuck this man over. I'm sorry, but if that's an arch nemesis, then this is an entire plot point from an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
I feel like this movie loses its way just to kind of rehash old ideas and not really say much in terms of being its own individual unique film. Maybe I should have given this film a lower rating, but overall it is pretty entertaining and one hell of a watch. At the end of the day, I think it comes in at 3 nanotech blood trackers out of 5. This film, I think, really lost sight of what made the Craig era so special. All that emotional drama and payoff is just gone from this film. One can only hope that the next film is actually able to achieve this and be a satisfying end to this new era of Bond. Tomorrow we look at our last review with No Time to Die. Gear up and gear out.